Hi, I welcome you all again in this unique initiative by YuktMind, wherein we will be covering the daily newspaper, The Hindu, within 10 minutes. Now let's get started with 16th April's The Hindu.
So, the first news is the Government of India is planning top notch aspirational toilets to usher in change. From now onwards, 25% of all new public restrooms in the Indian cities will soon have high end features such as luxurious bath cubicles, touchless flushing, breastfeeding rooms, and automatically sanitary napkin incinerators. These aspirational toilets will be set up in high footfall areas. The aspirational toilet scheme was initially launched in September 2022 as part of Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0 with an aim to help make cities open defecation free. Now we move on to our second news. Two Chinese dual use facilities, that is, first one a military facility on Coco Islands, Myanmar, and the second one a proposed remote satellite receiving ground station in Sri Lanka, have raised security concerns in India. Why these facilities are a serious cause of concern for India. For example, the Coco Islands are just 60 kilometers away from Andaman and Nicobar Islands. There was a radome. Please remember this term radome, which means a dome shaped structure to protect radars. The radome was spotted on Coco Island recently through satellite images. Concerns for India are that India's satellite launch facilities in Sriharikota and the integrated missile test range in Odisha could also come under the scanner of these ground facilities. So the third article is about Blue Umbrella Day. So Blue Umbrella Day is basically celebrated on 16th April and it aims to raise awareness on how to better care for boys and protect them from sexual violence. So basically in society the general perception is that only girl child are susceptible to sexual violence. So it is an initiative of Family for Every Child, a member-led global alliance of 46 local civil society organizations in 38 countries. Now we move on to our fourth news article. It is about gravitational lensing. So please remember this term. It can come as a prelims question or a mains question can also be asked from this topic. So what is gravitational lensing? Gravitational lensing occurs when a massive celestial body, such as a galaxy cluster, causes a sufficient curvature of space-time for the path of light around it to be visibly bent as if it by a lens. According to Einstein's general theory of relativity, time and space are fused together in a quantity known as space-time. Within this theory, massive objects cause space-time to curve, and gravity is simply the curvature of space-time. Now we move on to our fifth article, which is about magnetoresistance. We know that graphene has so many wonderful qualities, and one more thing that graphene does differently is it displays an anomalous giant magnetoresistance, which is known as GMR, at room temperature. Say a conductor is sandwiched between two ferromagnetic materials, commonly metals attracted to magnets like iron. When the materials are magnetized in the same direction, the electrical resistance in the conductor is low. When the directions are opposite to each other, the resistance increases, and this is called GMR. So GMR is used in hard disk devices and magnoresistive RAM in computers, biosensors, automotive sensors, and micro electromechanical systems and medical imagers. The GMR based devices are particularly used to sense magnetic fields. The new study has found that a graphene based device, unlike conventional counterparts, would not need to be cooled to a very low temperature to sense these fields. So the sixth article is on Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama has been in news recently because of a controversy wherein Dalai Lama allegedly could be seen using inappropriate language with a child. So let us know some information about Dalai Lama because it can be asked as a question in prelims or as mains question. So the tradition of Dalai Lama leading the Tibetan government began with the fifth Dalai Lama named Ngawang Lobsang Gyatso, who in the early 17th century founded the Gelugpa government. The current, that is 14th Dalai Lama, known to the Tibetan people as Gyalwa Rinpoche and by the spiritual name Tenzin Gyatso. He was born as Lamo Thondup in 1935 and he was enthroned on as 14th Dalai Lama in 1940. So the institution of Dalai Lama has been held as the spiritual leader of the dominant Galu or Yellow Hat school of Tibetan Buddhism. Yellow Hat is one of the four main major schools of Tibetan Buddhism. Each Dalai Lama is held as the custodian of the teachings of Avalokiteshvara, a bodhisattva, that is a person in the path of Bodhi or a form of Buddhist enlightenment, and an important deity in Tibetan Buddhism. The 14th Dalai Lama was both the spiritual and temporal ruler of Tibet till 1959, when he and his retinue fled to India following unrest in Tibetan capital of Lhasa. And ever since, he has stayed on as exiles and later formed a government in exile. However, politically, the 14th Dalai Lama, that is current Dalai Lama, gave up political or temporal powers in 2011 to make way for a democratic government in exile, which now goes by the affiliation, the Central Tibet Administration. But it is mostly seen as a non-profit political organization and it is not recognized as a sovereign government by any country. The giving up of a political powers marked a significant change in Tibetan history. From initial advocating independence for Tibet, the current Dalai Lama, that is the 14th Dalai Lama, has come a long way to now seek a version of Tibet autonomy within China.
Now, at last, let's talk about some data. India's total exports were around 770 billion for financial year 2023, wherein they were around 766 billion for the financial year 2022, wherein the negative trade balance in 2023 is around 122 billion dollars, whereas it was negative balance of around 83 billion dollars in 2022. Thank you for watching this video. There's more where it came from. Please visit our website www.yuktmind.com. You can also follow us on our Twitter handle, Instagram, and Telegram channel. Thank you.